Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Paddock. My name is Henrik,
And my name is Sierra.
and today we are going to discuss the F1 Academy weekend, which was only 2 days, but still a weekend.
Yeah, everybody thought the rain was gonna be in quali and it flushed out the first race.
Yeah, and the first race was supposed to happen the same day as the qualifying.
Yeah, it decided downpour then, so it was
Mhm.
moved from what was it? Like,
Friday and
well,
until
it
Saturday
was moved
morning.
from no, it was moved from Saturday afternoon.
Yeah,
I
Saturday
want to say
afternoon until Sunday morning. Yeah, but.
yes.
Mhm.
I mean, they still got both races in, but
Mm. Yeah.
as an American, it was not a nice start to the morning of being like, oh, it's an easier weekend because it's only F1 Academy and Formula One.
Right.
No, I have to still wake up like F3 time.
Okay, yeah. But let's talk about qualifying
Yep.
and what happened. What happened was that you would expect that that's your normal procedure with the start and so on, but Amna Al-Kubaisi had a spin in
Mm-hmm.
qualifying, which again triggered a few others to have similar mishaps. That was fun to watch.
I mean, the two people you expect to be on pole were on pole. Abby pulling
And Dorian
securing
Pan.
for the first one, and Dorian Penn securing pole for the second race. I guess the other one that you could say should have been up there is Chloe Chambers, who's
Mm.
it's currently third. I just don't think this being her first year in the academy, I just think that it's still a learning curve to get these more traditional circuits down for her.
Yep. And Zandvoort is, of course, a very old track, so it has become this. I won't really say a staple, but it has become something that a lot of people enjoy, both watching and driving, and I can see why. But it's not really a staple or a classic by any means. It's a good track, and that's it.
I mean, I think the most not surprising, but seeing Maya
Maya
Vlog
Voog.
Woog, yes, seeing her being able to qualify well in both qualifications, I believe she is qualified second each time, or
Mm.
second or third for each race. So, and I think the last time she qualified this well wasn't was towards the beginning of the season. So nice to see her get a nice comeback coming into the weekend and also being able to get podiums for both races from that as well.
Uh, and not only that, but she was racing on home soil, which was a win for her, I believe.
Yeah, still we did not hear besides the beginning of the races, we did not hear the Dutch national anthem at all for either
Yeah.
race.
No, not for either series. Of course, F1 didn't have a sprint race, which was perfectly all right, but
We'll get to F1 in a
later
minute.
on. But yeah.
Yeah, later on in the next video of the day. But
Hmm.
I think so we mentioned one of the drivers going off. I know Bianca also went off, I believe is
Hmm.
during the second quali run
Yep.
that she I mean, good to see
Uh,
that everybody was okay, but it definitely shows that Zandvoort, even though it's a short track, it is still very demanding with a lot of banks.
and a lot of sharp corners as well. So that's can also be taken into account that you have a lot of these very sharp and tight corners. And not only that, but they're also very small in most
Mm-hmm.
cases.
I think having F1 Academy race here instead of F3 and F2, I think works better. One, because it is such a short track and there's only, what, 11 drivers for
16.
16. So, whereas F2 and F3, it's 22 and 30, right?
Yes. Mm.
respectively. So I think it would be too mushed in terms of trying to get, you would be having people lapped by like lap two.
Yep. Not only that, but like you say, F3 has more drivers, but I wouldn't really mind if F2 started racing there again. Of course, they had the displeasure of having to cancel a sprint race, I believe, last year at
Yeah.
Zandvoort due to rain.
I think the FIA has been like, what's the, with how much it does rain there and the weather is very unpredictable, I think they kind of are decided to limit how many types of races they have there to try and maximize getting around the weather as much as possible.
Right. Knowing that Belgium and Spa is the neighboring country, that doesn't really strengthen their case of wanting to have races in open wheelers and open cars there. It should
Mhm.
probably be some kind of a world endurance track or something like that. But mostly due to weather, of course, but yeah, I don't mind
I mean,
it.
it makes for exciting races because I feel like half we don't get a lot of rain races. I think Canada is probably your biggest. Canada, Spa, maybe Miami every now and then, just because Miami is very humid and rain can start up anywhere. But
Yeah, well, do keep in mind that Miami is also fairly new.
no, I know.
We've only had like two races in Miami, so
Yeah,
I wouldn't really consider Miami this
I'm not. I'm not.
weather like track, but
I'm just saying in terms of like where weather can happen, because again, I'm from the States. Florida is one of the main like rainfall can happen at any point. The other state I would say probably would be Washington, but it is what it is.
well,
Um,
we aren't racing in any of the Washingtons, so
no, Key, we can discuss later about on a different topic at a different day about bringing more sports to the US, but I digress on that.
do
And
you need
um
that? Do you need more sports?
uh no, we don't. Uh I will say that off the top off I would rather see a race be put somewhere else than having a
Mm.
fourth one in the States.
Yeah, right. Well, they have considered California as this fourth race in the US, even though I think it's a bit excessive.
I don't think it was Cali. I think it was either New York or Chicago.
No, Chicago, sorry.
It's okay. All right, back to topic. Quali, we went over quali.
Yeah, that was everything that happened in
Yep,
that qualifying session. So
going to race one, again, it was at 8 a.m. local time.
8:30 local time. So,
Yeah. So an early morning,
yep.
very early morning for
Mm,
me. I apologize now. I hate waking up stupidly early. But of course, Pulling did win her race,
mm.
leading from pole,
But she
Penn,
did actually have to put up a bit of a fight, so it
which is nice to
was
see.
well deserved on her part.
Yes. I don't know how I feel about Peens, because of course she got a 5-second penalty for a false start, and from listening to the commentators and watching the replays, it really didn't look like she moved. So I want to know if it was a sensor thing, like what
Mm.
exactly happened.
Well, everyone knows that not moving isn't a start, so she wasn't. It wasn't at her own fault. It was a sensors or anything like that.
But I mean, it made for an exciting race to see who got the podium because we did get a mixed up podium then. So as we said, Abby won, well deserved. Did have to fight for it. I mean, she still was clear for the most, like by 7 seconds by the end of the race. But seeing Marty get on that second step after having doing a really good quality run in the first quali to get up. I believe she was starting third. And then again, Maya Wong also getting a podium with Dorian having that 5 second penalty. For them to stay as close as they did
Mm.
to Dorian to I believe she fell to yeah, she fell down to
P5
fifth.
was it? Yeah.
It was Abby, Marty, Wong, and then Gademan.
Yes. And Godman is of course the wild card driver for
Yep.
that weekend. And to clarify, a wild card driver is usually a local that does a one-off appearance for that
hmm
weekend. So, of course, it will be exciting to see who the wild card will be for Singapore, which is their next race.
I mean, Chloe still did a good job securing P6 in that race. So just if maybe she was, I know she was stuck in the pack and also fighting a little bit more down there. So to see
Mm.
her, I don't know if she could have maybe got closer to Penn, but I think maybe P5 was with Penn with Dorian's penalty, maybe a little bit of a missed opportunity for Chambers.
Yep. Not only that, but also Leah Block is one that should be mentioned.
She finished P9. I forget where she started.
I think she started in P7, was it?
Okay, so lost a little bit. I think still a really good run for her, still getting valuable points, even though it's still lower on the cards. Again, this race, because it was rescheduled, it went from, I believe, 17 laps to 13 laps. So
Yep.
we didn't get technically the full race in this setting, but it was still good to see. It made for an exciting, I think, matchup for the next race that we had, what, an hour and a half to 2 hours later.
Yeah, we have it 2 hours and 15 minutes later.
Yeah.
So at 10:45 local time, which conveniently for me is my time zone. So
Good for you.
yeah,
Uh, We all have a time, we all get some type of time zone that works for us.
indeed. But race two wasn't that much to speak of.
No,
Uh,
I think it was definitely more. I mean, Penn did again, Penn winning from pole, but I think that the second race was definitely more, I think a little bit more race happy. Not race happy. Well, yeah, race
Trigger
happy.
happy.
There was a lot more trying to overtake. I think the first race they definitely were holding back a little bit just because
Yeah.
if you crash there, you're kind of screwed
Yeah, you're
to try
doomed
and
for
get
the second race, which was
yeah.
like 10, yeah, an hour, no,
Yeah,
two, yeah, 2 hours
so to
30. So,
see a lot more wheel action, again, Dorian Penn wins, but Maya Wing was only 1.8 off her basically.
yeah,
So it was very, and then Pulling's only being 2.2 behind
Boog.
Voog. It was very close in terms of the top three.
Just to clarify, it was basically the same podium, but reversed, more or less. Moving on. Yeah, it was more or less.
No, no, it wasn't the same. I mean, because Penn was fifth, so she got on the podium. She should have been on the podium in the first race, but
Yeah, if she didn't have the penalty, she would have been P2.
I mean, Maya getting back on the podium on a P2 instead of a P3, and Pulling's in P3 instead of P1. So two of the same on the podium in different spots.
Yeah.
I want to the wheel-to-wheel action between Al Kubezi, I think that's how you
Alcibiades
say her.
and
Yeah.
Block.
Nobles, and I think Schranzer, right? Yes.
Yeah, that.
I think that's how you say your name.
Mhm.
Seeing the three of them go at it for I think most of the race.
I think, yeah, it was all of the race almost.
So I think they definitely, as I said, the wheel-to-wheel action was a little bit more heavy in the forefront because again, they didn't have to worry about doing another race right after this. I guess the other thing of note is Chloe didn't score points in this race. She ended up finishing in P12, which
Which
doesn't
is
help.
not the point scoring position in
Yeah,
any
no.
series.
It doesn't help her. I mean, with her scoring points the first race it works, but for her to try and make a comeback to maybe challenge the top two of pennant pullings, it kind of puts a damper in that a little bit.
Mm.
But we've seen her
Yeah.
win, so I don't see it being a full disaster. I don't see it being like the end of the world. But again,
Oh,
we only have how many more races?
we have 3 more races to go.
Yeah. So I believe our standings are still Pulling's in first and then Penn in second.
So Abbey Polling is pretty much guaranteed the Freka drive. So that
And
wasn't
I
really a
mean,
surprise, but yeah.
no. No, she showed us from the beginning of the season that she is dominant. She is here to win, and I mean she's at 190, whereas
Mm.
Dorian Penn is at 119, and then
Whoa.
Chloe being at 89. So I don't think there was really, unless pulling DNFs from the next 6 races, because we do 2 races each weekend for them. It's pretty much done and dusted in terms of championship.
Mm. And another thing of note is also that we heard the British national anthem for the first time that weekend.
Not totally not giving us a preview to who wins, what we'll be hearing on this top step of the F1 race later on the day.
Oh, goody.
But I think that does it for Zandvoort for F1. I mean, again, it was pretty straightforward. Besides the rain that made, instead of one race on Saturday, one race on Sunday, having it basically a double header, it was pretty straightforward and but still exciting to watch.
Very exciting. And a little thing to mention is also that Abbey Pulling's radio didn't work during the rain, so they had to use a pit board.
You mean when they were sitting in the rain waiting to see if they would start the race?
No,
Or during because of the rain?
because of the rain.
Wow.
So whenever they wanted to give our messages, whenever they wanted to convey something, they had to use this massive pit board.
So basically, it was a giant Etson sketch every time she went past the pit lane.
Yeah, when the radio didn't work. And if anyone remembers which race it was, or if it was qualifying, drop me a line.
Let us know on our socials. You can find us at the _paddock. But otherwise, I think that wraps it up for our review of F1 Academy in Zandvoort.
Yeah,
Look forward to seeing them in Singapore, where it's Singapore. Anything could happen. It's a street race. It's hot. It's a night race. Well, I don't think it's a night race for them.
Singapore is a behemoth of a track, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Should be some interesting races. But I think that
Indeed.
does it for us. Catch us when we on our review for F1 of Zandvoort, where we talk about the race, we talk about driver news, all the good jazz.
And the Monza and the other races, of course, we'll be there for it.
It's looking pretty spicy.
Indeed.
But have a great rest of your day. Enjoy whenever you're listening to us, and we'll see you later.
We
Well,
will see you for Monza.
Monza. Well, yeah, we'll be back for Monza.